Hey, it's Victoria Crosby. I thought we might start like a bit of a Sunday tradition, and we're going to call it Startle Up Sundays. And I'm going to take you on a bit of a ride with Duke around our property and just talk some shit, I suppose, about, you know, what's been going on. First things first though, we've got to go catch him. He's just over there. Where is he? There he is, with his mate. Stable buddy. So let's go get him. Dookie, dookie, dookie. Come on. Yeah, he's like, not today, Victoria, not today. Come on. And first we're going to have to do some maintenance because he absolutely loves getting these prickles. Don't ya? Prickles everywhere. Prickles everywhere. So we'll ride him bareback back up where we can saddle him up. I tell you what, jumping on him bareback a bit harder than it used to be a few years ago. I'll just get some of these prickles out first. They're not too bad. Sometimes he's covered in them. These ones will just brush out. Nice and gentle. Hey buddy. Nice and gentle. Alright, all saddled up, ready to rock and roll. And apparently we're going to go for a bit of a trot first. Thought you'd want a gentle ride today. Well, here we go, we're slowing down. So as you can see, starting to get a bit dry here now. Still beautiful though. We've got to come down and slash all this area in the next week or two, I guess, before it gets too dry and the old bushfire season starts coming into effect. So yeah, welcome to Saddling Up Sundays. I just thought it might be a really good opportunity to connect and say hi, how you going? What's been happening? Are you doing all right? If he shies while I'm one-handed here and I fall off, I'll make sure I tell you where I am. You can send help. Facebook Simon and say, go get her. Come on. So I don't know what we're going to talk about. I thought we might start off with how the last few weeks have been. They've been pretty busy. As everyone knows, my husband and I own a little cafe called The Hungry Pug, which is in the heart of Mariba. It keeps us going, keeps us pretty busy. We both work 7 days a week, and we do a lot of catering, and we make our own homemade meat pies, and we're known for breakfast and our burgers. But yeah, so this music thing, wow, you know, what's the go with that? I've always been a singer and a songwriter. Since, oh gosh, I was in primary school, I was writing songs. And it's something that I always really wanted to do, and I enjoy doing, and I love doing. And I spent a lot of time during my 20s entertaining and singing and doing live shows. Oh, we just had a stumble. They say don't work with horses or children. And when I kind of met Simon, I put all that on the back burner, and not because he asked me or anything, but just because we had different priorities, you know, like building our life and working hard and, you know, buying that elusive house that these days seems to be a lot more elusive than it used to be. And about 9 years ago, after we'd been together for about 5-6 years, because we were living down in New South Wales, we came back to my hometown, or almost my hometown. We came back to where I'm from anyway, which is Far North Queensland. I'm originally from Chillago, born and bred. And we ended up back in Cairns for a few years until we found the perfect property, which is a little mango farm in Baibura, past the mango winery. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. About 7 or 8 years ago, we wanted to stop working for other people and start working for ourselves, and that has been an absolute adventure. We started with a market stall selling my homemade jams and chutneys, and Simon used to make some sprinklers. Oh, there goes my hat. Hold on, we gotta go get the hat. It's a bit windy today. Got my hat back. So yeah, Simon used to make some sprinklers, and then we kind of got a food van and we were doing the markets. We used to do Mareeba markets, and we used to do Yungaburra and Malanda, and then every Sunday we used to head up to Port Douglas and do that market as well. And what we found was we kind of needed one more day of trade in order for us to, you know, not be completely on the bones of our ass all the time. And so yeah, we ended up opening a little cafe in Kuranda, and we were there, and just before COVID must have felt something in our waters, because we were eyeing off the old Hi-Ho Cafe in Mareeba that had been vacant for quite a while, and the landlord was very kind and did us a really good deal, and the rest is history. So this is 6 years this year since we've had the Hungry Pug, and we've actually just signed our new 10-year lease, and at the end of the year we're expanding into the shop next door. And yeah, so we'll have an outdoor area and a bit more room and a few more tables and a bit of a renovation going on, so that's pretty exciting for us both. So how did we get back into this music thing? Well, I've always been a singer and a songwriter. I've actually spent all of my early 20s doing a lot of entertaining and a lot of singing and in pubs and clubs and stuff like that. And when Simon and I got together, I was 29 and he was 23. Terrible pain. And I kind of put all that on the back burner because we spent all that time up till now kind of building our lives and you know, sorting out what we wanted to do. And what I have found is that I've got a little bit more time in my hands now. Not so much time, but the ability, I guess, to be able to do some things financially as well. You know, a bit better off than we used to be as we get older. And don't take me under that tree, Duke. Come on, go around the tree. Thank you, appreciate that. And what really spurned this back on was going up to Mungana on Boxing Day, and I actually went up to Chiligo on my own for the day because Simon went fishing on the reef with some of his friends, and I thought, oh, you know, it's Boxing Day, I want to do something. So I went for a bit of a drive, and whoa boy, and I ended up in Mungana. And I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell you again. So I walked around for about an hour and a half and just enjoyed the serenity and the peace and quiet and exploring the old ruins of Mungana. It was Chiligo's sister town. And I tell you what, after about an hour and a half, I was feeling a bit tuckered out. I sat down on the foundations of an old building. Not much left. You could tell that there was a building there and lots of bottles around it. You know, like literally the brick foundation still there and the dirt all built up. And all of a sudden I could feel, and you gotta remember, I've been walking around here for an hour and a half and felt completely safe. But all of a sudden the hairs on the back of my neck stood up and all on my arms, and I had a shiver go right through me that I can't tell you. And all of a sudden I felt like someone was watching me, and it wasn't somebody nice. It was a really horrible, angry presence. Now, this is where I tell you I'm actually not that superstitious, right? So for me to feel that, something was going on. And all of a sudden I felt really vulnerable. and alone, and like I needed to get in my car and leave, which is what I did, because I was in the middle of nowhere, about half an hour from Chillagoe, and there was no one around. And you know, you follow that instinct, I suppose. Anyway, didn't think much more about it after that, and it wasn't until a couple of months later that I was having a cup of tea with my mum and my dad here in Mareeba, and we were talking about Chillagoe and Mungana and that, and I mentioned to them, oh, you know what, last time I was up there, and I told them the story. So it was so weird, because I've never felt like that before, especially from where I'm from. My mum goes, oh, that was probably old Richard Henderson checking you out. Like, who's Richard Henderson? Mum said, oh, you know the story about Annie, don't you? And I said, I don't know the story about Annie. You know, what's the story about Annie? And that's when Mum told me about Annie Tracy and how she was murdered by Richard Henderson in the pub because he asked for a meal that he wasn't entitled to, and she said no, and she said no very nicely, actually. And then he came back and he shot her. And that was just gut-wrenching for me. And I wanted to kind of share her story with everybody, and I wanted to write a song, which I did. It's called Flowers for Annie. It's actually coming out on the 1st of August, and I'm really excited about it. And the song's about her, it's not about him, and that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to share her story. And a few months after that, Simon and I made a special trip up to Chillagoe where we cleaned up her grave. She's got a beautiful grave in Chillagoe that the people of Mungana paid for her. They raised money, a huge sum in those days, and it's quite grand. And I actually sat down and I sang her the song that I wrote for her. And I tell you what, my voice cracked quite a lot during that. And now, in a week and a half's time, I get to share her story with a whole lot of people that I hope will listen. And her story is heartbreakingly familiar. 124 years later, isn't it? Yeah, so that's how I came back to music. I needed to tell this story and I needed some people to hear it, and that's how we got back to it. So I didn't want hers to be the debut single. Originally I did, but then when I kind of thought about it, I thought, oh, I don't want to kind of ride on that. I didn't want to commercialize her like that. So I ended up waiting a couple of songs, and I really hope that it comes across as a tribute to Annie. Anyway, I'm going to take this old boy back home, give him a good brush down and some dinner. And I hope you enjoyed today, and we might do another one next Sunday. Hooray.